And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, good morning, depending on when you happen to be watching this. I am Carrie Haisley. I am the Chief of the National Weather Service Alaska Region Emergency Services and Multimedia Branch, and I'm filling in for you on this Tuesday, July 22nd with your general weather segment. A couple of things here on the screen before I get started, though. We do want to tell you about the Alaska Weather Information Line. The phone number there on your screen, 1-855-937-4977. That takes you to a menu system, and you can make a selection to pick the area for which you want to forecast. One of the great ways to get information from us. You can always get information from us on the web at weather.gov/Alaska. And I love to hear from folks, and I've not been on the air for quite some time, so it's been a while since I've heard from you. Feel free to reach out anytime. My email address is carrie.haisley@noaa.gov. All right, so a few things we want to talk about before we dive deep into the weather. We've got a couple of hydro products out. The area in blue up here, this shows up as a special weather statement on the map. This is a hydrologic outlook for most of the Copper River Valley. This is because a potent storm that we're going to talk about as we move on here is going to be bringing widespread rain into the Copper River Valley beginning late tonight, looking for 1 to 3 inches of rain possible across portions of the Copper River Basin. Highest amounts are going to be along both the Wrangell and the Chugach Mountains, and in those areas we could be looking for significant rises in the water levels on some of the streams and the rivers there. We should look for this to taper off by the time we get into the later part of the day on Wednesday. Now, the other one I want to talk about is over the southeast Alaska Panhandle up here in the Haines area. This one is a flood advisory. This is due to flooding from snowmelt conditions with warmer temperatures down in that area. This has been reduced a little bit. It initially covered multiple river systems. At this point, it is just for the Chilkat. This one is in effect until 10 p.m. on Thursday. So there are no other watches, warnings, advisories across the state for our land areas. And we do have some small craft and other marine products that are out there. You can get to those on our website, again, weather.gov/Alaska for that. So let's take a look now at fire weather conditions from flood to fire. So we are dealing with a fairly wet pattern across the state right now, so fire weather conditions have become a little bit more quiet, which is a good thing. Looking for some westerly winds across a lot of mainland Alaska to persist across the next couple of days, which will keep the weather a bit cooler, greater potential for some showers, and then it keeps that fire potential a bit lower. Right now, the driest fuels are across south central Alaska. I'll show you that on a map here in just a second. So that is the most likely place for new ignitions, although we do always want to make sure we're exercising caution and doing everything we can to prevent any kind of fires. So taking a look at just the fuels right now, looking at spruce at this point in the year, the blue is where fire danger is generally low based on fuels. The areas there in yellow and orange, those are the areas where we see the higher fire danger. So again, parts of South Central and the Kenai Peninsula, Matanuska Valley, and then across a lot of the Copper River Valley. Those are the areas that we're most concerned about. So moving on to weather, we'll take a look at tonight's surface map first. So we've got an area of low pressure out here over the Gulf of Alaska. This is kind of the main system that's dominating weather for the entire state. And this is the one that's really triggering those hydro concerns that we talked about with that hydrologic outlook, again, bringing precipitation to a lot of areas along the Gulf Coast, the northern parts of the Panhandle here, and then the Copper River Valley, they're expecting the largest in terms of amounts. Now, we also have widespread shower activity with just a broad westerly onshore flow across most of mainland Alaska and another system out in the far western Aleutians, and we'll keep kind of seeing a lot of this stuff work its way from west to east as we go through the day. So again, into Wednesday, we've got this area of low pressure still anchored out over the Gulf of Alaska, front associated with that moving its way towards the Panhandle. We'll bring some more showers as we get into the day on Wednesday. Widespread areas with shower activity with just a broad westerly flow across a lot of mainland. We've got a thermal trough up here, and that's where we could see the most likely potential for thunderstorms as we get into the day on Wednesday. We see that system out along the western Aleutians, mostly weakened, but there is some potential for showers out there on Wednesday. Now into the day on Thursday, Area of low pressure over the Gulf still persisting. It is weakening as we go through time. We see that cold front never quite push on shore before it weakens. Showers taper off over the Panhandle by Thursday as well. Showers do linger though across a lot of mainland Alaska, and then this thermal trough here becomes the area again where any thunderstorms that develop would be most likely to occur. High pressure, this is a fairly strong high pressure system as we are in the summertime months still at 1035, kind of building its way into the Aleutians. That dampens the chance for showers, but does increase the chance for things like stratus and fog out along those areas. And then lastly, a look at Friday. Low pressure still hanging out in the Gulf. This one kind of spins off of the low that was already there on Thursday. A little bit stronger, way more in the way of precipitation for the Friday time frame. Looking at Panhandle all the way around to the Copper River Valley, South Central. Shower potential mostly on the backside of this as opposed to all day rain. Steadiest rain is going to be down here along the frontal boundaries with showers back to the west. Along the thermal trough here would be the greatest potential for any thunderstorms when they develop on Friday. High pressure persisting out in the Bering Sea there along the Aleutians. Now temperatures, we're going to go through these 3 times. I'm going to do the southern part of the state and then we'll move on to another area. So we'll start with the overnight lows and we'll see what the temperature drops down to for Wednesday morning. Across a lot of south central Alaska, we're looking for 40s, 50s, definitely pretty normal for this time of year. Across the Panhandle here, let me step out of the way so that you guys can see here. We're looking for overnight low temperatures to be in the mid 50s across most of the area. So Wednesday, a warm day. We're going to see some sun across parts of south central, maybe again some afternoon showers developing, but temperatures in the 70s for the Matanuska-Susitna Valley, for parts of the Kenai Peninsula. A little bit cooler as you get into the Copper River Valley because we're going to be dealing with that area of low pressure bringing in precipitation. Temperatures topping out in the 60s for Wednesday there, 60s down over the Panhandle as well for the highs on Wednesday. Thursday morning, a little bit cooler across parts of south central, temperatures in the 40s and the 50s across the Panhandle there, dropping down to about 55 depending on where you are across the Panhandle. And then for Thursday, again, another warm day. We should see a little bit more sun across parts of south central. Another day where we could see 70s across a lot of the Matanuska-Susitna Valley, maybe in Anchorage, but definitely a bit more likely as you get a bit further north. Temperatures in the upper 60s for parts of the Kenai. We'll see the rain tapering off in the Copper River Valley by the time we get into Thursday, so temperatures look a little bit warmer. Going to get close, maybe flirting with 70 up in that direction. And then over the Panhandle, temperatures in the 60s. Now for northern Alaska, this is going to be tomorrow morning. So overnight lows. Up along the Arctic coast, we are staying above freezing, but we are getting pretty cool at night. So upper 30s to low 40s for low temperatures there. Across the central part of the interior, looking primarily at the upper 40s to right around 50. For high temperatures on Wednesday, the warm spot looks to be Fort Yukon. That's not surprising. Peak out at around 68 degrees for the high on Wednesday. And then a lot of 60s, 50s the further west you go. So with the showers in there, we're going to keep some clouds around, keep temperatures fairly cool. Not warming up a lot along the Arctic coast, 42 for Utqiagvik, 42 over in Kaktovik as well. A bit warmer when you get further out on the northwest coast there. Thursday morning, temperatures get a little closer to freezing. Utqiagvik, you could bottom out at 33 or even close to freezing. And then along the Brooks Range, 42 there for Anatuvik Pass, and a lot of 40s and 50s through the interior for Thursday morning. Temperatures rebound into the 60s. We'll see our clouds lessen a little bit again as we get through Thursday. 69 for Fort Yukon. We see 64 out towards Bettles, and then a lot of 50s in the western part of the interior there. All right, so last area here, we're going to look out in the southwest tomorrow morning. Low temperatures down around mid 40s, 48 for Bethel, some 50s, 40s out along the Aleutians there. Warming up into the 50s, mid 50s for southwest Alaska. It'll be a cool and damp day. 50s out along the Aleutians for your Wednesday as well. Into Thursday, not seeing a lot of temperature change in the Aleutians. This is pretty typical this time of year when we have clouds set in. So cooling back down just a little bit into the upper 40s, 50s, and we keep 40s and 50s for our lows across a lot of southwest mainland. And last temperature map here. Highs on Thursday afternoon, a lot of 50s. I feel like I'm not in the right spot. A lot of 50s here for southwest Alaska. And then we see upper 50s, maybe even some 60s along the Aleutians. Now a quick look ahead. So this is looking out at the 8 to 14 day time frame. This is the product from our Climate Prediction Center. So the dates on this would be July 30th out to August 5th. Overall, when you take a look at mainland Alaska, we're looking for temperatures to generally be above normal. Now, this doesn't tell us how much above normal, it just tells us the likelihood that temperatures will be above normal. So for most of mainland, that is what we're seeing as far as the forecast goes. Some exception though, the Panhandle over there in the blue, this is where we're expecting temperatures for that time frame to primarily be on the below normal side. And then we'll take a quick look at precipitation for that time frame. So across southwest Alaska, western mainland, generally drier than normal for that 8 to 14 day outlook. We see the bulk of the precipitation, at least the tilt towards above normal precipitation, let's go with that, across the eastern part of the interior and across parts of the Panhandle. So that's all I have today. Thank you for joining us.